Good morning, guys. Just up this morning. Part one of episode 8. Needed to come on this morning. I want you guys to know that every day, even though you are free, trials and tribulations and tests will come. I was in my bed just now, and I got up from beside my husband, and I decided to come on this morning just to share some things with you. Um, Mama Pam goes through. Mama Pam goes through with all that God has done and all that He has given me, and has stood by my side after almost 15 years out of prison. There'll be some serious issues sometimes. Right now, guys, I'm just going to briefly tell you that I'm dealing with a health issue. You know, trusting God all the way. I fought a good fight through it. Um, Went to the ER and they said that bone is yet rubbing on bone in my hip. One doctor said the tendons are torn. Went to the next doctor the next morning, the tendons aren't torn. But he told me three things that were valuable and will stick in my mind. He said, number one, we're going to do therapy. Number two, we're going to give you another injection. And number three, you just might heal. Guess what, guys? I'm taking door number three. You see, and it all goes back to my incarcerations from being diagnosed with a brain tumor and having cancer cells and bone removed out my toe and back mixed up from sleeping on that steel. You see, the warrior has been here before. She's been here before. But now I got some other issues going on. Let me just say this here right now. I got some other issues going on. I came out after 8 and 8. Total about 10, almost 11 years out of my life because I did 18 months the first time, repeated it 8 and 8. So I came out with the expectations of living a Christian life. Now we're going to get into that after I finish up episode 8, and I will finish that up on Saturday, guys. So look out for it. But right now, this is where I'm at. This is where I'm at this morning. Guys, when you hear me say, Mama Pam loved that Jesus, somebody she ain't never met before. Now, I can't tell you right now what to believe, but I wish you would believe in him because he is our strength. Let me say just my strength. Guys, I done shot, this is the 8th episode of Convicted. I done shot 8 episodes. So you got to know that somebody carried me. But it doesn't stop. All I wanted to do was come out and live a Christian life. Be a blessing to somebody. That's one of my mottos. If I can help somebody along the way, guess what? My living here on earth would not be in vain. And I try to do that. I'm facing some challenges right now, guys. I'm facing some challenges, man. I'm determined to make a difference in somebody's life. See, maybe other people want to save the world. If I can get just one person to believe and have faith and don't make the mistakes that Mama Pam did, my living here on earth would not be in vain. Was heartbroken today. Have been in the same place of worship for about 11, 12 years. I had to step down. Not so much that I'm in my feelings, but you see, if I don't stand for something, I'm going to fall for anything. And that don't mean where it's at. You see, because all I want to do, guys, is serve God, be loving with in my fellowship in the community. It don't always work like that, man. And that becomes devastating, compared to where I've been. You see, because in prison, man, we worship, we fellowship. Yeah, the little ladies would come to meet their little girlfriends and stuff. I mean, that's what they did, but they were respectful. You see, and I find out now sometimes in society, It seems to be some type of competition. You know, we should be on one page. It should be on one page. If we believers and we striving for the body of Christ, that's the way I feel about it. And I'm just being honest. I'm gonna step up out of that, man. I'm going to part one of convicted. I just wanted you guys to know that even coming home, expect adversity, expect trials and tribulations and tests, because they will come. But I'm gonna let y'all know right now, and I'm gonna put it up in the air, and the angels gonna ship it to the atmosphere. I ain't backing up no more. I ain't backing up no more. You know, I heard Bishop Jakes one time, I used to listen to him a lot in prison. He said, I got the gift of goodbye. If you weren't meant to be in my life, see you. Bye. Does it mean that it doesn't affect you? Does it mean that it doesn't hurt? Sure it does. Sure it does. Because when you've been in one space for a good little while and you're trying to do all you can to learn and to continue to grow, yeah, it hurt. Yeah, it hurt. But I'm moving on. Moving on with that. I just had to get that out tonight. I was laying beside my husband, like I said, I had to get up and go to work and get him to work. But heart is heavy. But this too shall pass. I put it in the master's hand now and ask him to work it out for me. Send me where you want to send me. I'll go if you send me. And that's where I'm at tonight. I'll go if you send me. And that's the way it was for me in prison. If you tell me to say it, I'm going to say it. If you tell me what to do, I'll do it. That's where I'm at. That's where I'm at right now, guys. Honestly. But anyway, with that being said, episode 8, 8th year, getting ready to possibly be released. They call my name on the intercom. Sanders in the daytime. Sanders, pack it up. Pack it up. I wanted to this. I said, permission to speak, man. Well, pack it up. Where I'm going? She Sanders, they board and sundown. You're going to the CRC building. Now, guys, let's just say this. I was the mentor for CRC, the drug dorm. And the board decided, you're going to put me in the drug dorm for 9 months. Now, I did notice him. Once I go to that drug dorm for 9 months, I'm finna get a TPM going on. All right. This is late going into the 8th year. That's why this is part 2 to this, because I'm going into the 8th year. You see, pack it up. I'm going to CRC. Everybody looking at me, following me to the room as I pack my stuff. Because, I'd have been the mentor for CRC. I'd have been the chairman for, maybe about 4, close to 5 years. You want me to go to CRC? What? Well, I know they wasn't, logically, I know they wasn't going to send me back to the halfway house once again. We know I bucked on that and went back across that gate. I wasn't working no free like that, doing all that stuff. Man, I go back to prison for that. So with that being said, packed it up, went to the building, E1. Knowed all the counselors, the ladies that lived in the dome, shoot, man, I walked in, they looking real crazy. So with that being said, I went on to my little room with new roommate once again. And at first she seemed to be a really nice little lady, but came to find out there was some factors in her, man. I couldn't let it make me blow, but because I had did too much time. And I know this is the end now. If I do these 9 months, they going to give me a date. I am going to get that early release. So with that being said, I went on in there. I wasn't happy about it at all. I'm thinking, subconsciously I'm thinking, this might be a possibility with God, all things possible. It might send me to work release my last little bit of time if they're going to cut the sentence. No, they sent me to CRC. So I know I was going to ace that job. I know everything about it. That was a mistake on y'all part. So I went to CRC. I remember the counselors, Mr. E, Sandra, what you doing here? I said, what it look like I'm doing to him, sir? I'm in the program. He bust out laughing. So anyway, with that being said, I first month. So shoot, I would take the test as the midterm test. I put anything on them jobs. I don't care nothing about that. In the final, I got aces, so that's what I did. They would just laugh. Say, what you put this foolishness on this test, sir? I said, what why they send me here for? Shoot, I was the mentor for y'all building. What they send me here for? So anyway, when the midterms came, it's 4 parts till you have to ace each and every test to be able to graduate. So I did that, I was I could see the ladies in the honor dome. I could go in the yard and wave at them and stuff, and that was cool, I still dealing with some stuff, dealing with self still, I always have to deal with self because see, I got to take self every darn where I go. So with that being said, mind getting set now. That particular year, my youngest sister, my older sister, she's still keeping in touch periodically, still got my mama. My baby sister now, she wants a relationship. I thought that was one of the most special things. She shot me another letter. You put me back on your phone list. And I did. And periodically I would call her, how you doing, what's going on with the kids, whatever we'll talk about. And that kind of gave me some uplifting. It really did. Because like I said, I wasn't really a phone person. Periodically I would call my friend in South Carolina. Periodically I would call my moms, my extended moms, and her and daddy, I would call them, other than that, still writing every now and then. One of my homeboys, he had got out, and it was just a blessing that he thought about me. He would send me money periodically. It was so such a blessing. He ended up getting married, and I think the last money order I got was from him and his wife. So that was a blessing, because some people out there still keep it real. And anyway, still praying because now it's getting close. It's getting real close, guys. It's getting real close. I'm like, shoot, about 9-10 months getting ready to come home. I got to be strong now. I got some devastating news one day about my son. He was out there wilding out. And he's my firstborn. We 16 years apart. I had him at 16. I was a teenage parent, not knowing what to even do with a baby, but I was a teenage parent. But through God's grace and mercy and the love of my mother and her best friend, who was a nurse, I made it. I didn't leave home until I was 18 years old. He was 2 years old when I left home. But anyway, we're going to get into that a little bit later in my podcast. But I was a teenage parent, so we're like 16 years apart. Matter of fact, not too long ago, he reminded me. He said, Mama. He always talking to me like I'm harder during here. Mama! Oh, what? Mama, me and you was raised together. What? I said, well, shut your crazy behind up. I'm 59. You 42. Leave me alone. We ain't raised together no more. I'm still a chief and you still an Indian. Leave me alone. So that when he walked off, it made me laugh because we was raised together. When he was a baby, I ain't know no better. I ain't set my crazy behind up there, licking little baby like he was a darn puppy. I ain't know no better. My mom said, stupid gal, quit licking that darn baby. I ain't know what the devil happened to me. But anyway, that's another story. But anyway, guys, I always got to keep some joy and laughter in my life, man, because if I don't laugh, boy, I'll break down. I'm telling you. And I ain't trying to do that, man. I'm trying to live with joy, peace, and love in my heart, boy. Y'all pray for me. Y'all pray for me, man. I ain't claiming no hip surgery. I ain't shooting the same thing in prison. Shooting them jabs at me, brain tumor and this and that. And boy, I was looking and telling God, look now, look. Shoot, man. Some of these things, man, I'll celebrate 60 years in August. I ain't trying to do that, baby. I'm trying to build an empire now. I'm trying to not, I'm trying to build something now. These are the years that I should be relaxing. These are the years that I should be already set. Do I live all right now? Yeah, certainly I do. God is good. Certainly I do. I'm comfortable. Still got to work. Go and work. Enjoy working. I'm a receptionist. I enjoy what I do. Because I like talking. Y'all can really see that, can't you? I like talking to people. And there was a time in my life, honestly, I didn't. And I'm just being real. They had nothing to do with prison. That was way for prison. I didn't talk that much. I didn't talk that much. I really didn't. Because I was always in the fear that somebody gonna say the wrong thing. Because I'm like I said, I had some anger issues, and it was because what I had suffered as a child. And I couldn't identify with it. I just felt that's just the way I am. You know, I grew up in church, and don't get me wrong, but that was my mama God. That was my mama God. I went out of tradition because we were respectful children. When I came from the '60s, baby, so we were respectful. And if the more people said it, we did it. Any parent back then, in the '60s, even though a lot of the children went through a lot of stuff that they don't talk about, we respected it. So anyway, with that being said, eighth year in this program building. Um, shoot, man, gonna get through it. It's a breeze from the ace, and I ain't worrying about that. But anyway, got to go through it. And so now things are totally different because that program building is real strict. It's real strict. So anyway, I taught the ladies how to be in competition. Because we was in this cleanest dome thing. It's just a little thing in prison, that little incentive that they give you. If you win the cleanest dome, you get popcorn, free TV, on extra TV on the weekend, soda, which is like a luxury in prison. See, we take those things for granted. We take those things for granted to drink a real Coke, and eat some real popcorn. That's a luxury in prison. I'm just being real with you, because some people couldn't make so-called and didn't get those things. So that's a luxury, including myself. Because at the time, I couldn't buy no soda, you know. Definitely not no popcorn. They didn't even sell popcorn on the store, actually. So anyway, with that being said, getting through it. And I said all that to say this. Life, sometimes. I was riding down the street the other day, and, I take everything now and I try to learn a lesson from it. And I was coming down the street in my city in Savannah, in Seaport, and I was looking at a car lot. I used to, a man that used to do my car, he had a shop, and he mysteriously had a heart attack and he died. And me and my husband was coming down the street yesterday, and I looked over there at it, and everything teaches me now. And it simply said, this is an ever-changing world. The whole lot is gone. The whole lot is gone. They tore down the whole thing. So this was just like maybe 5 or 6 years ago. He had did my Jeep, and he's had a heart attack. They tore the whole thing down. But what I got out of it when I passed by, that voice inside of me, that calm voice inside of me, said, "Look at that. Nothing remains the same. This is an ever-changing world." I just learned something from that just now. That just helped me, y'all. Quit thinking things are going to stay the same. Do the best that you can. Do the best that you can. Are you satisfied? I remember one time I used to ask myself when I was in prison, before I go to bed at night, I say, "Did you do the best you can?" Talk self say, "Yeah." I say, "All right, good night." Say no more, as they say, not say no more. You know. So I just taught my own self something. Mentoring to my podcast, I just taught myself something. This is an ever-changing world, Pam. Quit thinking everything is gonna always be the same. Even though you want it to, you don't get too comfortable now with nothing. Because nothing remains the same. You're changing. When we look around the world is changing. So right now, this morning, beautiful, wonderful people. Keep in mind, life gonna bring on some changes, whether you want it to or not. You got to be accepting. You got to be, as my friend Tina Turner say, pray and worship every day. And baby, sometimes all night. Sometimes all night, because trying to keep that peace. Gonna keep that peace. Ain't no trying to keep it. I'm gonna keep it. I'm gonna keep it. That's just the way it is. I'm gonna keep it. I have some dreams and some goals, and the enemy knows that he see I'm getting ready to come out, and he don't want it. So he's shooting at me every which way he darn it can. But that's when I believe. That's when I step in. That's when my faith stepped in. to believe that God is greater. If he created me on this earth, he created me for a purpose and a goal. Now, no matter what detours I took in my life, there's still a plan and a purpose. There's a purpose for my life. You see, I seen so many when I was out there in the world, I'm going to talk a little bit about that on later podcasts, that left along the way. But he spared my life. It's got purpose. It got meaning. Sometimes I don't see it, guys, when I'm going through. Shoot, man, I'll be like, I went through enough, boy. Look, when this child gonna end? It doesn't. Because if you didn't have no test, you would have nothing to pray for, would you? It's the lesson for tonight, too. Beautiful, wonderful, awesome people. Good night to some, and good morning to others. To their own self, stay true. You can't be false with anyone, a night and a day, if you keep it real with you. Good night. Good morning.